What's up everyone, Best and West here, and here it is, my regionals tournament video. I did not do nearly as well as I wanted to. I did prep a good amount, but it just wasn't enough. Against the best of the best, I feel like you kind of need to reevaluate how you're thinking. Now, my regionals was held in the Bay Area at SFSU. It was hosted by PokéGatrs, so big shout out to you guys for hosting. There were some hiccups, but at the same time, that's expected for such a large event. 62 people, we almost had 65, which would have made it a 7-round tournament, but 6 rounds, I did horribly. 2 and 4 was my record. I think the sliding scale wasn't in my favor. When you're competing against the top of the top, the margin of skill level gap is very small. So I was ranked relatively high. I was the second highest ranked player globally, at least in the tournament. So I was paired with like the top of the bottom half, right? So it is what it is. I was facing tough competition. Everyone there was a great trainer, so I shouldn't be making excuses, but it is what it is, right? So hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and do better in your tournament. That's what this is for, right? To learn from my mistakes. So without further ado, let's get to the video. Alright, before we get into the actual battle footage, I wanted to go over my team and kind of why I decided to pick this team. Now, I did get some help from Twastel from the PvP Discord group. I think they rebranded as Pokemon Go Stadium. But anyways, so the first Pokemon I have is a Frenzy Plant Venusaur. Shout out to Gabzilla. She hooked it up with this shiny Frenzy Plant Venusaur. I'm running Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, and Sludge Bomb. That's a pretty, common moveset for a Venusaur, and that's to cover the Mud Boys, to cover Azumarill. It can deal heavy damage to pretty much everything except for Skarmory and I think Melmetal. So Frenzy Plant's just, the Community Day moves in general are kind of OP, so utilize them whenever you can. Moving right along, I have Bastiodon. This was a late addition to my team, so initially I did have Melmetal instead, but I found that Bastiodon just performs better as the tank. So the reason why I didn't use Melmetal at first was because I was afraid of Azumarill. But I found out that Bastiodon actually beats Ice Beam Azumarill. So that's why I picked Bastiodon instead of Melmetal. Now, Melmetal can put a lot of shield pressure on your opponent. So if your opponent doesn't know their matchups very well, Bastiodon can do really good work against, Melmetal can do really good work against your opponent, like burning shields and taking them down, and preparing for your other Pokemon. Moving right along, I have Skarmory. I felt that Skarmory was a better choice than the other flyer in Altaria. Now, I did see recently that someone used a Lugia as their flyer, and that's definitely not a bad choice, because the reason why you have Skarmory is to deal with both Medicham, Venusaur, the other neutral matchups such as Azumarill, and Haunter, things like that. So Lugia can actually kind of deal with that as well because it does get Sky Attack. The next Pokemon I have is Sableye. Now, Sableye is my flex pick, and the reason why I chose Sableye is because it performs very well against Medicham, and it beats most of the meta. So now I'm not going to go too deep into meta because I could go on and on for that, but pretty much Sableye beats Medicham and either beats or loses very little against everything else. So that's why I brought in Sableye. It is running Shadow Claw, Power Gem and Foul Play. So Foul Play gets Stab, Power Gem is to deal neutral damage against Azumarill, deal super effective damage against the flyers, anything flying. So like I did see a Beedrill and I did use Power Gem there. So next we have Medicham. Medicham is God tier. So you pretty much need Medicham and it's pretty OP. That's why in this upcoming Nightmare Cup it is actually banned. So Medicham is in there with Power Up Punch, Counter, Power Up Punch, and Ice Punch. Ice Punch to deal with the flyers and Venusaur, the grass types pretty much. And last but not least, we have Azumarill. Azumarill is a counter to both dark types, so you have Sableye. It also counters Medicham because fighting moves will be dealing not very effective damage to Azumarill because of the fairy type, and also Play Rough can hit it for super effective damage, both dark types and fighting types. So that's my team. Let's get to the tournament. Hey, so we just got here to SFSU and we're about to go into the tournament. Zayzilla, the person that drove me, we carpooled here. He went to go pick up another friend. It looks like they're setting up right now. I'm a little early, so that's totally understandable. But 63-man tournament, regionals, let's get it. Okay, so they just brought us into the arena and it looks pretty cool. There's like 3 levels. I've never been to SFSU before, but there's a lot of competition that I've seen in other tournaments. So this is going to be a really competitive environment. It's a very competitive environment, but everyone still seems pretty, pretty relaxed, very friendly. I'm the 2nd highest ranked person globally, at least in the global ranking in this tournament. So we'll see how I do. Hopefully I can take it home, but stiff competition, 63 people. I think that's going to end up being maybe 6 rounds. I hope it's 6 rounds, but it might be 5 rounds. We'll see how it goes. They're just filing all their participants in, and yeah, wish me luck. So the tournament's starting. I'm matched up with One Shot Paul. He's my first opponent, and from the looks of it, we have very similar teams, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Good luck, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
Getting into this first battle against One Shot Paul. We have very similar teams. I'm running a Sableye, he's running a Haunter though, and Sableye wins that specific matchup. So I end up bringing Sableye in just because that's the one thing that I have over him. So I should have known that he wasn't going to run Haunter, mainly because I have Sableye. But anyways, Sableye can also take out Medicham, can deal significant damage against Skarmory, can deal significant damage against Bastiodon. So I found it kind of a safe Pokemon. I also bring in Skarmory, counters Venusaur, neutral with Skarmory, kind of neutral with Medicham, and can beat Haunter, I think. And for my Bastiodon and Azumarill and Skarmory counter, I brought my own Bastiodon in. So that's my team. I lead off with Sableye and bring in the back Bastiodon and Skarmory. Let's see how I do. Getting right into the first battle.
I lead off with Sableye, he leads off with Bastiodon. So this is not a good matchup for me. So I have to burn a shield to be able to beat this Bastiodon because he's gonna get 2 Stone Edges off on me otherwise. So I get my second foul play off, but if he gets a Stone Edge off on me, then I am done. So I'm gonna burn a shield right here just because I don't have a Bastiodon counter. So my best Bastiodon counter is to just get rid of this Bastiodon right now. And that's what I do. So he sends out Zoomerl, I go ahead and send out my own Bastiodon. If he has Ice Beam, then this should be an okay matchup for me. He charges up a lot and sends out Medicham. So I go ahead and use Stone Edge and he blocks it. So that's good for me because I used the wrong move. So I'm just going to let my Bastion faint right here, or at least try to. But he gets one more counter off, and now I'm thinking, what should I do? What should I do? I was trying to get my timer to go down as well, and I send my Sableye back out and go ahead and use this foul play. He ends up blocking that, and he's going to knock out my Sableye with counters. So he has a charge move right now, and at this point he used Ice Punch. I decided not to block that, and he gets another charge move off right here. I decide to block this one. It's another Ice Punch, so that's not a bad block. Some lag. He ends up I end up knocking it out with fast moves. He sends out Zoomerl, so I get Sky Attack off, deal decent amount of damage. He gets a charge move off right here. It's Ice Beam, almost knocks me out. I get Sky Attack right here, but no, he had charge move priority, and the Ice Beam goes through. GG. Alright, so that was the first battle of the tournament. What a battle, right? Like, it came down to charge move priority. Like, even if I had gotten that Sky Attack off, I'm not quite sure if I would have been able to win that. It would have come down to IVs at that point, right? Like, if he had that 1 HP. But anyways, I gotta try to forget that. So what I end up doing, because I felt like if I had charge move priority, I would have won that. And I felt like the team that I chose was pretty solid. Like, my thought process went through and I thought of a pretty good team. So what I end up doing is I end up running back the same team, not swapping the flow, just running the same team. But if you guys watched my interview with Paul later, is that, yeah, he learned to not change his team if he won the first battle. So let's see how I do. You'll see exactly what happens, and I kick myself every time I watch this footage because I make some very critical mistakes, and you'll see what I mean. Alright, getting into this second battle. We're still laughing about that last match. I send out Sableye, Bastiodon, Deja Vu. I end up doing it. It's the exact same thing. It looks exactly like what happened in the last battle. So I go ahead and get this foul play off, and I'm trying to get this second foul play off, but he gets a smackdown off first, and I go ahead and shield this up. Oh no, it's a flamethrower. I go ahead and shield that up. I get this foul play off. He decides not to block it, so it goes back and forth. I get this second foul play off. This third foul play off, and knock out his Bastiodon. He goes ahead and sends out Zoomerl. Exact same thing that happened last time, but instead of sending out my Bastiodon, I send out a Skarmory. Why did I do that? Why did I send out Skarmory? Ah, man, if it's the same Pokemon, like I had... Bastiodon's a good counter to Ice Beam Azumarill, but I send out Skarmory instead, which is a neutral matchup. There's no reason to send out a neutral matchup if you have a counter to it. So now I'm thinking I need to send out Bastiodon. So I send out Bastiodon to try to take down Azumarill, but he has Medicham, and this is my worst nightmare. You can see it by the look on my face that this game is pretty much over. I go ahead and send out my own Sableye. I go ahead and shield this power up punch. I don't know if I should or shouldn't have. I needed to get this foul play off, but he has a shield anyway, so it didn't matter. That one mistake, that one bad switch, and it's pretty much over already. This Bastiodon versus Medicham matchup, it's over. Super effective, GG.
All right, so I'm here with my second round partner, Elliot X. So I lost my first battle. Did you?
I won my first battle.
You won it?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So
Congratulations. We got paired up, and we will see how it goes. Hopefully, I can do better than the last round I lost. But yeah, good luck, man.
Good luck.
All right, so this second round with Elliot X, I'm looking at his team. His flex pick is an Altaria. And other than that, it's a very typical team, a very meta team that's expected for regionals. Everyone's going to pick a relatively meta team for the most part. So with that being said, my Bastiodon can take out his Altaria, and then my Ice Pokemon can take out his Altaria. Now, if he knows that, he's going to bring in Medicham. So I am going to bring in my Azumarill to counter that Medicham, and also be able to counter Altaria with Ice Beam, and go neutral with Skarmory, and also go neutral with his own Azumarill. And for my last Pokemon, I bring in Medicham in case he brings in his own Melmetal. It'll go neutral with Skarmory. I can hit Altaria with Ice Punch. I'll go neutral with his Medicham. I can also hit Venusaur with Ice Punch. So that's the team I choose. I lead off with Bastiodon because I see multiple positive matchups for, I think, Melmetal, Altaria, Skarmory, and Azumarill. So yeah, let's see how I do. Alright, getting right into this battle. And I lead off with Bastiodon. He leads off with Melmetal. This is a positive matchup for me as long as I shield one time. He cannot win this in a 1 and 2 shield battle. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this flamethrower off. I absorbed that Thunderbolt, so he's gonna block that. This is the second Thunderbolt. I decided to shield this one because I saw him shield already, so this is at least a 1 shield matchup. So I get my second flamethrower off. So he decides to shield that. I am not going to shield this because I know I have Medicham in the back that can deal with Melmetal. So this is not a required win matchup, right? So I have Medicham, I send it out. I get some hits off, but he switches into his own Medicham. So at this point, he's switch locked with Medicham. So I'm wondering if he should have just kept that his Melmetal faint. But I send his Azumarill, and this is a pretty positive matchup for me, especially with the shield advantage. So he goes ahead and gets a second power-up punch off. He has no more shields. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this next move, this next power-up punch, and get my play rough off. I should have gotten it off a little sooner. I may not have had to eat that power-up punch, but it is what it is. He's gonna send out Venusaur. I have some energy charged up for Ice Beam. He has no more shields, so he eats that super effective Ice Beam. He's gonna get this Frenzy Plant off, knock out my Azumarill. I have my Medicham with an Ice Punch ready. Go ahead and get that off. Knock out his Venusaur, and Melmetal with very little health gets knocked out right away. GG. Alright, going into this second battle with Elliot X, I decide to take my own advice and say if I win the first battle, I'm going to make my opponent change their lineup. I'm not going to change my lineup. My initial read was good, so he has to change his lineup to try to beat what I put out initially, because there's still going to be one round even if I lose. If he makes his adjustments, that's totally fine. I can kind of see what other Pokemon he has and how he plays them. So I go with the same lineup. Lead with Bastiodon, bring Azumarill and Medicham in the back. Alright, let's see how it goes. Alright, getting into this second battle, I lead off with Bastiodon again. He leads with Skarmory, a good matchup for me, so he's gonna get out of there as soon as possible into Azumarill. Now, I was thinking I should switch, but no, if it has Ice Beam, this is a positive matchup. I don't really have a counter for this if it's Hydro Pump, and I automatically assumed that it was Ice Beam, so I'm not gonna block this. Play rough, not very effective, good. Now he's gonna get another move off, and I still think it's Ice Beam, so I don't block that one. And I'm gonna get this Stone Edge off, and he blocks it. He's gonna get a few more bubbles in, and gets in one more move, and it's another play rough. But his Azumarill is almost dead already. I have the shield advantage. I send in my own Azumarill and knock out his. He sends out Melmetal. I go ahead and switch into my Medicham. He goes ahead and switches into Skarmory. So this is a pretty neutral matchup, but I have some energy stored up, get that power up punch off, so my counters are doing powered up damage. He's gonna get this Sky Attack off. I have 2 shields, so I'm gonna burn one right here. So go ahead and get this second power up punch off. He's gonna block that one. I'm gonna try to get this Ice Punch off and knock out his Skarmory. He's gonna send out Melmetal. I have a shield left, so I go ahead and use that just because, like, why not? I have it. Go ahead and get this Power Punch off and knock out his Melmetal. GG, Elliot. So one thing I wanted to kind of highlight and kind of show that I may have done wrong is this. I assume that his Azumarill had Ice Beam play rough. So I'm going to go ahead and just not shield Bastiodon. This may have worked in my favor because that Hydro Pump, if he used Hydro Pump right there, I would have lost. But I didn't, and he goes ahead and uses Play Rough again. He had enough energy to go ahead and use Hydro Pump. So I'm going to get this other Stone Edge off. So by trying to bait a shield twice, he failed to knock out my Bastiodon and get that advantage. But at the same time, I was being very risky if I had assumed that he had Hydro Pump. It didn't even cross my mind that he had Hydro Pump. So my ignorance kind of helped me there. Anyways, GG's Elliot, and that's it for today's video. I'm gonna try to edit some more soon, but stick around, stay tuned, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and see you in the next one, guys. This is Best in West. I'll catch you guys later.